Mic check, mic check. What's going on, world? You already know it's your boy SB, and I'd like to welcome y'all back to the third episode of season 5 of the Roll Up Podcast. As always, like I like to start off every episode, I just want to thank each and every one of y'all for y'all continuous support. It really means a lot to me, whether you've been down since season 1 or you just started listening to the podcast 2 days ago. Thank you for spending time with your boy. Thank you for allowing me to be that beacon of positivity in your life. It really means a lot. And if you haven't done so already, I would, like to invite you to like, comment, and subscribe to the campaign. Be sure to share it with the homies because we taking over the algorithm this year, and it's all about sharing the content. It's all about interacting with the comments. So if you find a message, that hits home with you, please feel free to, engage with me on social media. I want to, chop it up with the people that's supporting the campaign because I wouldn't be able to do none of this without y'all. We'll also like to extend an invitation to check out the SauceBradyExperience.com. That's the official hub of the Roll Up Podcast. I got a lot of great segments that are about to get added to the movement, and the one sure way to not miss a beat is to tap into the hub and stay up to date with what's going on. Be sure also to check out the Sauce Factory and, grab some of the Season 5 merch that's out right now. You can use code TRUPOD, that's TRUPOD, to receive 30% off your order. I really got the hardest merch collection right now on the podcast tip. And as soon as you hit the Sauce Factory and see it for yourself, you're going to want to use that 30% off. So remember, it's TRUPOD to get 30% off your merch. And, thank you in advance for supporting the podcast. I also have 2 books for sale right now on Amazon and Barnes & Noble. One is titled Here's the Truth. The other is titled You Deserve Better. Whether you're on day 1 or you're on day 421, there's a message for you in these books to help you prove to yourself that you're worthy of achieving your goals. So if you try to tap in, on the book side and you want to read more books, I highly recommend you hitting the SauceBradyExperience.com and you go grab one of those 2 books. Or both, if that's how you feeling. Also, I'll be starting a campaign called Gaming with Sauce soon, and that's where I'll be, streaming my favorite video games, doing a Q&A with my listeners so y'all can get to know me a little bit more so we can chop it up on an intimate level. And I really can't wait to get that kicked off. So make sure y'all tap in, support the campaign any way possible so we can expedite that process because I really want to, get that ball rolling. But, now that we got that out of the way, we can get on to the topic of discussion. And on today's episode, we'll be talking about the power of productivity. As I've referenced this line by Mel Robbins about 100 times already, it couldn't be any any closer to the truth, And its action is the secret. We're going to dive into it in a second, but productivity is one sure way to beat procrastination, rescue you from anxiety, pull you out of depression, pull you away from that negative voice in your head, and place you right where you need to be in this present moment. And as always, I got to start off with a quote. And the quote today comes from Paul J. Meyer, and it reads, "Productivity is never an accident. It is always the result of a commitment to excellence, intelligent planning, and focused effort." And as you've probably gathered from that quote, this episode piggybacks from the previous episodes, and we're going to give you more insight on how to become more productive. When you look up the definition of productivity, it is a state or quality of producing something. Whether you're creating a new version of yourself or you're on the entrepreneurial journey, you can only see results through being productive. Productivity can come in many ways. It can come from being hands-on with your craft or simply ensuring that you're taking care of yourself. The main aspect of being in this state, as we touched on a second ago, is that putting in the work brings you to exactly where you need to be in this present moment. The process calls for many things in order to be successful. But out of all things necessary to create the life you want to live, taking action today, right now, is what is necessary to see the real change in your life. Whether you're researching ways to overcome your situation or applying what you've learned, spending your time wisely is a crucial element needed to thrive. As the opening quote suggests, productivity is the result of a commitment to the process and have laser focus on the quality of work. When you think about where you want to be in life, in order to get from point A to point B, is the small steps that you got to take in between. And by applying focus to our goals, we are paying attention to what matters the most. When we think about all the things that we want to accomplish this year, we should keep in mind that there's 2 days that we can't do anything about, and that's yesterday and tomorrow. By focusing on today and reducing the amount of distractions that knock us off course, we are showing up for ourselves in ways that we haven't done before. When we are committed to growing, we are releasing old habits, thought patterns, ego, the need to be in control of external events, and doing our part to maximize the areas that are tangible. When we think about the devotion required to reach our goals, we don't have time to stress about all the inconveniences that attempt to steal our joy throughout the day. Because as I said before, the system was designed to distract us from our purpose. It was created to give us a false sense of accomplishing someone else's dream and goals without taking ours into consideration. But when we choose to put ourselves first and bring clarity to our journey, we begin to take note of the small victories along the way. Productivity can rescue you from depression because it allows you to focus your energy on feeling better. You may not feel 100% better right away, but with consistency and showing loyalty to ourselves, we are replacing the feelings of inadequacy with the reminder that we come from championship lineage. It may take some time to see really big changes, but it's important that we don't overlook the small victories, because acknowledging the small victories remind us of how far we come, but it's also proof that we are closer to our dreams. By believing in ourselves and in our process, we are being proactive in the choices and decisions that we make. We are being mindful of time management and allocate the energy required to see our dreams come into fruition. Every time we try to keep up with the next person or the newest trends, we stray farther away from ourselves. And if we aren't careful, we will stray too far and begin to lose our way. And one sure way to come back home is by being productive. The power of being productive is a major key that will unlock doors we didn't know we had access to. When we focus on the process and not the end result, we are showing emotional intelligence by prioritizing what is the most important to us. Along with having unwavering faith, it is up to us to put the work in and day out to guarantee that not only are we talking the talk, but we're walking the walk. Taking action today kills procrastination. Because how many times have you said, oh, I'm going to do this tomorrow, and then 3 weeks later, you still didn't get it done? When it comes to creating the life we want to live, we need to remove all forms of procrastination. By removing the need to bullshit and applying pressure to our goals, we are taking the initiative to become greater. And ultimately, that's all the universe can ask from us. Taking initiative towards pursuing your dream puts the ball back into your court and allows you to call the plays. Obviously, there is a higher power working on our behalf and putting our names in conversations and putting our names in the right places. But we have to do our part by taking action today. As we set out to conquer the world, let's practice minimizing distractions and maximizing the opportunity we have each day to get it right. We all get the same 24 hours in a day. But what separates the winners from the losers is what we do with those 24 hours. You can't say you want to be better without actually getting better. You can't say, I want such and shy away from the work needed to do such and such. And as I said before, the when, why, and how are out of our pay grade and above and not in our job description. But however, focusing on today, focusing on what you are doing in this moment is in our job description. It's up to us to do the work and do it efficiently to see the benefits. When we lose sight of where we are going, we become lost. When we get too caught up in yesterday and creating imaginary scenarios for tomorrow, we are losing our power. When we let the disappointments of life hijack our thought patterns, we lose the drive to want to do anything. And although I'm not downplaying any of the battles you face every day, but if you want to be on the winning side of the conversation, it starts by taking action today. It starts by being aware of self and catering to what you need. Maybe you need to work on validating yourself. You start today by being grateful for all that you have and all that you are. Being grounded in gratitude has been one of my many secret powers. because regardless of what the situation is, gratitude always keeps me from losing my mind. By showing gratefulness for all of life's blessings, only then will we be ready to strap up and get our hands dirty. This journey isn't going to be easy. It's going to challenge you in ways that we've never been tested before. But to get to the other side of the storm you're in, it's going to take an insane amount of courage, but will also call for equal and maybe even more tenacity to become great. Starting today, let's lock in on our goals and create a step-by-step blueprint on how we plan to see our dreams manifest. Keep the vision in front of you and don't let life stop you from doing what you feel is necessary. The negative voice in your head is going to always be there, but you have to be proactive in the way that you identify negative thoughts and be quick enough to change the channel. As a reminder, I'm rooting for you, and I have no doubt that you will be successful. But no matter how I feel, you need to feel it for yourself. Even if you don't feel it today, one small step in the right direction of your goals is better than never taking a step in the first place. And, one last little bit, to help get the message across, comes from the movie Gravity, featuring Sandra Bullock and George Clooney. I don't know if you've seen it or not, but there were two astronauts working on the Hubble Space Telescope when they encountered a debris field moving at 20,000 miles an hour. As you can expect, when the debris reached the station, it wreaked havoc and tore the ship into more cosmic trash. And in the midst of getting tossed around and being tethered to one another, the two had got separated from the telescope and they were floating in dead space. And as if matters couldn't get any worse, the pair had to use a manned maneuvering unit to make it to the space station. By the time they got to the space station, the debris storm had came back, and the duo managed to get tangled in a piece of trash. And in order to not drag them both into space, George Clooney had to untether himself so Sandra can get back to the ship so she can go home. And while she was fading in and out of consciousness, somehow Clooney had somehow reemerged and gave her the directions to not only make it to the Suyas, but also the directions on how to divert enough energy for her to make it home. Although she was contemplating giving up, Sandra's character had to stay focused on getting back home. Even though he was a figment of her imagination, George Clooney showing up at the last minute was the voice that she heard in her head to walk her through the steps of getting back home. And what I'm trying to say is this: life is going to happen. Certain things are going to happen that's beyond our control. And it's important to remember that we always have a choice. We can either A, continue to be stuck in life, or option B, we can take deep breaths, try to separate emotion from logic, and understand that there is always a way. As we pursue this journey to come back home to ourselves, there is a little voice in our head that is encouraging us to keep going. There's a encouraging voice telling us to keep our feet moving when we get tired and weary. There may be people, even, the inspirational quotes that we see on Instagram that's giving us that extra nudge to keep going. It's important that we listen to these voices because with productivity, awareness, and moving with a sense of urgency and efficiency, they will lead us exactly to where we need to be. Resist the need to control everything, then plan your work, and then work your plan. We may not be able to see, but there is always a way out of our situation. So with that being said, I want to thank each and every one of y'all again for spending time with your boy. I hope I said something, to give you that extra kick in the ass to put that foot on the ground and start putting the work in. Because last year we did a lot of chilling. This year it's all about being productive. My word for 2024 is execute. Execute, execute, execute. Plan your work your plan. It's time for it. Be sure to check out thesaucebradyexperience.com. Make sure to use code TRUPOD, that's TRUPOD at the Sauce Factory to get 30% off your merch. Be on the lookout for the Gaming with Sauce. Also, if you haven't done so, I forgot to mention this earlier, you can also subscribe now to the Roll Up Podcast on YouTube. So you already know it's your boy. Y'all have a good one. As always, smoke a fatty. You deserve it. Peace.